everyone, I've got a quick tip for you today.
Something that I often say to do is to pull your threads to the back when you are sewing around your project. There are often instances where you don't want to have backstitching seen from the exterior or the front of your project, whether that is for top stitching, sewing in your tags, if you were sewing around an overlay piece. When I say pull your threads to the back of the project, what I am talking about is taking your top threads and pulling them through to the underside of your project where your bobbin threads are. And I'm going to show you how that works. I'm just going to sew around this vinyl scrap. I'm using two different thread colors so that I can demonstrate. I have white on the top and I have orange on the bottom. When I come back up to my starting point, I want my needle to hit in the same hole that my first stitch went through. So to do that, I'm going to hand crank my needle. I'm going to manually position it to get it in the same hole. Can be a little tricky to see. You want to get it as close as you can. Another option is to pull your project off the machine right now and use a hand needle to put that through. So I've placed the needle in the last hole and I've completed the rotation, and now I'm going to pull my project off the machine. So you have two thread tails on the back and you have two thread tails on the front. And what you want to do is pull these front thread tails through to the underside. You want to check that you have your bobbin threads coming out as close to each other as possible. They're together in the center. In order to get these threads to come through, you're just going to pull gently on the bobbin thread, and you'll see that that loop of the top thread pulls through to the back. That's the white thread there. That is the top thread pulled through. And then I'm just going to pull on that and it will come through the hole on the top. And now I just have one top thread, and you can see that the bobbin thread that I pulled on has now moved outside by one stitch length. That is because it was being held at this center hole by the top thread. Once the top thread comes through, it's no longer held in place. So that is normal. This is the back. You don't need to worry about that. It's not a skip stitch. It just doesn't have the loop there anymore. And then you want to pull on the other bobbin thread to take the second top thread through. Just pull on it gently, and that will pull the top thread through to the back. If your top and bobbin thread match, you can work out which thread you're supposed to be pulling by just gently tugging on the top thread or the bobbin thread and see what moves. So you have no threads now on the top, and on the back you have 4 threads. You have your 2 bobbin threads that are on the outside. Those are my orange threads. And the 2 top threads are the white threads there in the middle. And now you can knot all of those threads together to secure all of your threads without any backstitching on the front. Take your bundle, split it into 2 and 2, and then you're going to tie a knot. So you're going to want to have longer threads to start with. If your threads are short when you're trying to tie your knot, you can hold them with a pair of pliers or hemostats. Then you have the first side knotted. Do the same going the other way. Then you can trim those threads down to about 1/4 inch, and then that will stop that knot from coming undone. And that is how you pull your threads through to the back and tie them off. Hope that helps. Thanks, everyone.